What up? I'm Jake Palumbo, and I want to talk to you today about my new sound library / drum kit, sample pack, whatever you want to call it. For my producers out there, it is called Stem Cell Research Volume 1. It's not just a cheap ploy to sell you my stems. It's a sound library that I have created for producers. I've been wanting to do a sound library for a while, and I have a few others that are in the works that are going to have a slightly different format. A couple of musicians I'm going to be teaming up with to bring you some original riffs to use and whatnot. But to get started, we have Stem Cell Research. Now, this is a library that contains 25 drum loops, 25 music loops, and a custom folder of one-shot drums right out of my personal collection. Now, these drum loops are taken from songs that I have produced for myself and others, and I basically went into the original multi-track sessions, isolated the drums as a whole, and ran 8-bar loops of them. Every beat I make is different, but the quote-unquote textbook Jake Palumbo formula is to, after I chopped up the sample and did the drums, to go back on top of it and play music, whether it's bass lines, guitars, keys, strings, whatever the song calls for. And what I've done on this sound library is go back to some of these beats, mute the sample and the drums out entirely, and take some of that music that I played on top of it. So I say this to say that while all these samples have been excavated from songs that I've already produced and released, when heard individually on their own, unless you're a Jake Palumbo super fan, which if you are, shout out to you if you can identify where these samples come from. But for the most part, it should not be obvious at all where these samples came from. My goal with this is for you to be able to take what I played underneath somebody else's sample, take that and use that as a starting point to go ahead and play your new music or your new sample or whatever you determine. Bob Ross, man, it's your world. Whether you loop it and play stuff on top of it, or whether you slice and dice and chop it and make it sound like something completely different entirely, man, how you sharpen your sword is up to you. It's easily organized, everything is labeled with tempo and key where applicable. You also get an extensive folder of one-shots. These are individual drum sounds, kicks, snares, 808s, hi-hats, percussion, effects, miscellaneous bongos, whatever. And these are sounds that I have loaded up into my presets. These are some of my go-to drums when I sit down to make a beat. A lot of people will probably have questions about the legalities also, like do you have to clear these, so on and so forth. I'm not in the business of trying to chase down independent artists for whatever money they're able to make for themselves. So as long as you actually paid for the sound library, you can use anything you want on there. I'm not going to come after nobody. I will include my publishing information if you do want to give me a little tip and put my name on the writers. I would appreciate that. But, as far as I'm concerned, if you bought the sound library, the sample is cleared. Anyway, Jake Palumbo, Stem Cell Research, Volume 1. You can get it at jakepalumbo.beatstars.com, or you can go to jakepalumbo.com and click on the tab that says Beats.